Hello, 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 and welcome to the Bada Before I even state our names, I got to be clear with everybody that we were promising Bada After Dark, but it turned out to be more like Bada Late Lunch. Here we
Afternoon?
go, Afternoon Delight. I am one of your hosts, Dave, and down there in that bottom square is my pal and partner in crime, about to be the tropical Teddy, Chris. Chris, how are you, my friend?
Oh, this is Hawaii Eve for
Yeah.
me. So it's you know me pretty well. You know I'm not a good traveler.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very silly for it because I feel like a lot of people, if they were going to Hawaii tomorrow, they'd be like,
Jacked.
"Well, hell yeah!"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "When is Sunday?
Ah.
How long is this going
It's
to
going to be
be?"
1 week, right? Exactly 1 week?
No, 4 days.
Only
It's
4 days.
a short one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a short. We travel very. We are weird travelers.
Mm-hmm.
We just we're homebodies who want to be travelers.
Okay.
So it's very we leave a lot on the table, you know. Like when we went to Boston, I think we had like 2 full days there. Um, Everywhere we go, we have like a day or two full, and then it's the get there day and the leave day.
Okay. Well,
So that's what we have with Hawaii. We're gonna get there tomorrow, Thursday.
uh-huh.
Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Then we have Friday, Saturday, and then we leave Sunday.
Right on. You know, but
Yeah.
you were describing to me before we went live on air that you guys have like
Hmm.
activities planned and everything else, like
A few,
a la
yeah.
Brady
Yeah.
Bunch special episode.
We got the tiki, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna be in a surfing contest, of course.
Well, be careful with that,
Uh,
especially you just mentioned that don't draw the ire of the tiki. Come on.
I'm gonna. I mean, I need that to get into the surfing contest. I think it's a
Yeah,
prerequisite.
maybe.
Yeah, you want to be there. They're like, "Where's your tiki?"
Didn't Bobby also have to leave like a trail behind him of like popcorn or something?
I think so.
Yeah. It's
Jeez,
been
yeah.
many, many decades.
Long time since I've
Yeah, it's
seen
been like
that.
20 or
Yeah,
30 years. I say many, many years, like
easily.
20 years, but still you get my drift, you know?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, on Channel 11, it used to be at like 5 in the afternoon. It would be the old Batman Adam West for a half hour, and then it would be Brady Bunch for a half hour every day.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the last time I watched either of those shows.
Okay. Well, maybe you should have brushed up. Tonight is still
I
time,
know.
you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig it out here, find out how to ward off
Yeah,
curses.
make sure you grab your dad's
Yeah.
architect plans and put it in the same tube as the poster you just got.
Hmm.
Yeah. You remember this now, don't you?
It's starting to trickle
There we
back in.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that, Robert Reed. I have
Hmm.
your blueprints right here, sucker. Chase me all over the island. Actually, I'm not sure if that was Hawaii or California now, you know, with all those special episodes they had.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah, maybe someone can reach out, badabinshow at gmail.com and clarify for me. But anyway, that's good. 4 days. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun, even though I know you and
Hmm.
you're going to be digging.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to. I've been doing some research on comic shops in the area,
Okay.
and doesn't look like there's many.
All right. Well,
Doesn't It looks like it's gonna be pretty sparse, and pretty much any comic store that I found so far isn't called a comic book store. It's usually a collectible store.
okay.
It's a vinyl store. It's an anime store. So it's gonna be weird.
Okay. Hey
Yeah.
man, you still got to you get a journey. You got to try it just to
Hmm.
see what
Oh yeah,
happens.
for sure. That's probably might do that tomorrow
Okay.
when we get there.
Oh,
So,
really? First thing?
well, first thing is going to be either going to a Target or a Walmart to buy our toiletries,
Okay.
because we don't feel like schlepping them and having to go through security. It's weird. Like we got an email with the restrictions on what you could bring, and of course, there's the standard restrictions, but it seems like there's even more on top of that.
Okay.
Like you can have the certain amount of ounces, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like you can only have so many things of those so many ounces. And
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
screw it. We'll buy shampoo
Yeah,
then.
no, yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
come on. You can go get a
Yeah.
bottle of Suave anywhere. Get
Sure,
out of
sure.
Dodge,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know, it's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned that because I love to fly, and I
Mhm.
understand the rules. I get it, why we need them.
Sure,
But
sure.
I hate the whole process of flying. I hate waiting,
Oh, dude.
everything. So
Dude.
I don't travel. I don't fly.
Yeah. No, dude, that's the whole if I didn't have to do the airport, this wouldn't be a big deal.
Uh huh.
But it's like It's like a 6.5 hour flight. Um, and it's like 2 hours before that at the airport. God only knows what the other airport looks like and how I'm going to find my way out of there. And there's like some airports, like you get there and it's like, oh, the rental cars are right there, and you go.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Omaha, the bustling metropolis of Omaha.
Sure.
It's like we got there and it's like rental cars. Okay, we were out of there in like 5 minutes. We go to Seattle and it's like rental cars. Oh crap, we got to take 3 buses to get to the rental cars. And like you're an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
And you're finally in your car.
4 shuttles
I
to
don't
get
know
to
what this is
Hertz.
going to be. Yeah, basically. Basically. Yeah. And then when you get there, they got one person working, even though they got like 18 registers or whatever, there's one person working. There's 45 people in line.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well.
I know that the rental car place is in the airport in Hawaii.
Okay.
So that should make it a little bit easier.
All right. Well, I got to say, you are a very dapper Dan this evening.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have the sniffles, so
ready
I
there.
probably sound
Ready.
funny calling you a dapper Dan. But here's the thing: you are ready. But I
Yeah.
present a challenge to you,
Hit me.
and I've kind of alluded to this earlier in a private text. But
Mhm.
when you go digging, I want you to throw on some nut huggers, your best Hawaiian shirt, and go full Magnum PI Tom Selleck like 84, just blazing. So when you're like
I'll just puff the hair up a little
whatever
bit.
it takes,
Yeah.
man, let that moss out, undo like 6 buttons and just freaking let your fingers
Yeah.
do the work. And everybody goes, look at this freaking guy. He's living his best life right there. That's what he's doing.
I'm gonna rent. What kind of car did he have? A Ferrari?
Well,
a Porsche?
hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? With the whole Robin 1 Ferrari.
Yeah, I'll rent one of those.
I'm just
Yeah.
talking about some khakis.
I'm just gonna pull up on the curb outside the store.
Yo, man, you're no action hero. Just stop it. Well, I'm getting very simple. I'm trying to talk about the wardrobe.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, yeah. So then, by the way, there's also
I'm gonna swing in on a
mansion.
cable.
Yeah, there you go. But no.
I'm gonna find some guys in the midst of snorting cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And go and be like, oh, no. This is a bad situation, but this is the life of a private detective.
There you go.
Digging for comics in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Safe travels to you, my friend. I hope you and your better half
you.
have a great time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's good to know it's going to be a short thing, so you're going to be in and out. It's going to be a chew and screw.
Yes, pretty much.
So that's
pretty
good.
much.
So hopefully you can pack
Speaking
in.
of chew.
Oh, what's up?
The McDonald's out there, they serve Spam.
Okay.
That's something they say. You need to try the McDonald's Spam when you're in
Why?
Hawaii.
Why'd you need to try McDonald's anything?
I don't know. I haven't had McDonald's in ages, but it's like McDonald's Spam. And then there's like a teriyaki burger
Okay.
out there. It's like, how often do you go there?
Well, I get it. It's like a limited meal option to a regional area, but still it's Mickey D's. It's not like, whoa.
Yeah.
Their
It's not
Spam
gonna
is so
be.
great.
It might turn me on to Spam. Who knows?
Okay. Well, I expect a full report on my desk.
I will send you a photo of a plate of Spam and rice from McDonald's.
Don't you dare unless you're digging dressed up like Magnum PI. And then I will accept further text from you. But that's how we're leading off. Tarjay.
We'll see. Yes. And then the anime store.
Digging in nut huggers. Yeah, exactly. Call you Camel Toe Chris. That's what we're going to do, man.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Well.
I like it.
All right, enough about you.
Sure.
This crazy life you live. Living the Vida Loca with your, you like to call them champagne problems.
Caviar
problems. Flying, it sucks, but I'm going to Hawaii. So,
damn my luck.
right? Gosh darn.
F my life.
Yeah, well, no. Listen, dude, just real quick. Hawaii is a bucket list. I hate that term, but still, it's like,
Sure.
it's on my want list. Let's
There
stay
you go.
more appropriate with the whole collecting thing as far as, if people say, hey, where'd you like to go? Like, I'm half Irish, half German. Don't you want to go to Ireland? Nah. Like, don't you want to go Paris? Nah. No. But Hawaii, they filmed Lost there. You had mentioned Jurassic Park. You got a little tour going on that you're going to be doing on the ATV.
I'm going to be chased by dinosaurs and
That's great.
good stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. again, pictures, videos, get them all. We will put them on the Bada Bin Show next time we go live.
Yes. What we did last summer, or whatever the hell month
I,
this season this is,
It's
right?
supposed to be winter. It's going to snow in my neck of the woods over the next couple days.
Wild.
I know, in Dallas,
Wild.
Texas, everybody done be freaking out because we're going to get like 2 to 4 inches of snow. So,
Man, we're barely dipping out of the 70s here. It sucks.
dude, I can't. I don't want to get into like the whole weather thing and turn this comic live stream into nothing but
Yes.
weather talk. I do want to, in fact, talk about some collectibles and other things we got planned. But before we do that, not to start the show only talking about you, because I know it's your favorite topic. You can't get enough.
I'm very
of it.
good at it.
You're excellent at it. You know,
bragging
to everybody. I'm coming back with a tan. I get a little.
I'm coming back burnt.
Right, red as a lobster, baby.
I'm more than half Irish.
Yeah. You bring in? Oh wait, no, you're not. You can't bring sunscreen because
I'm gonna have to pick it up there.
Buy it there, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just slather your body in Spam.
But the spam grease.
There you go.
It'll be the sausages.
You'll come back plenty cooked, baby. I want to brag a little bit on myself because, you know, I partake and I have for a very, very long time. Much like earlier when I'm like many, many decades. So it's been about 20 years. So technically 2 decades. The late 90s. I've been playing fantasy sports. I started with fantasy baseball. I've been plugging away. I run my own league. That league's almost 20 years old. And my brother runs a league. And this year I won because I'm awesome. I'm incredible at what I do. Like fantasy football, crush it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Bring it. Stats, all that stuff for nerds. I run on guts. I run on instincts. And because I won, he sent me a nice little trophy here. I don't know if you can see it. He even engraved it. And it reads, 2024 Masshole League Champion, Bootleg Butt Circus, which is my team name, which is very creative, by the way. I don't think you'll ever find another team called Bootleg Butt Circus.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to copyright, trademark, all that stuff.
Stamp that sucker.
And then my name on the bottom. So there you go. And
there he is.
I think he picked this one because it looks like the Hulk.
He does.
The Hulk had a love child with Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Or Blanca from Street Fighter.
Yeah, there you go. But yes, I'm very proud of this little trophy that I have now received. So thank you to my brother.
Awesome.
For recognizing my excellence.
Your greatness.
My greatness. And yeah, it's pretty sweet stuff.
I like
All right, man. If you get nothing else to say about our personal lives, want to move on to some other stuff?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do that.
Because the rest of personal stuff is very depressing.
Are you serious? You being serious right now?
Oh, I mean, we're just in the cleanup after the holidays, and that is a bummer and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
You even asked me, because I'm like, I got sniffles. Oh, is that because you're taking down your Christmas tree and stuff? No. Mine's still up. Okay.
Yeah, mine went down today. This morning.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, you're leaving.
It's after the
for 4 days.
Yeah, we're kind of rushed, so yeah.
So there you go. And I don't want to talk about that right now. Let's keep it on the up.
We won't. Let's go.
We're
up.
in a limited amount of time here. Let's be positive
Let's
and
go
happy.
up.
Rainbows flying out of our buttholes, and nothing makes me happier than great mail. And thanks to our evil overlord Jeff Bezos, we have something called Amazon. And I'm reaching over here because Amazon delivered something to me today.
Ooh, damn.
What could be in the box? Come on, insert. I don't have any clips like lined up. Otherwise, you know, I was going to say insert your 7. What's in the box? Right?
The what?
Dude, the movie 7. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. You've never seen 7?
Never seen 7.
Well, if it rains one of the days in Hawaii, just rent 7.
Okay.
But anyway, let's see what's in here because I have yet to open it. I have my trusty box cutter, which I call Bob.
So, this is a blind box opener.
Well, I know what's in there. You just don't know what's in there.
Okay.
Nor does the viewing public. Unless you read the show description, in which I already spoiled it. And you know what I love about Amazon? And I always think that people who do these kinds of things are just liars. Is the packaging is always so piss poor. I
Yes.
ordered a fig, and I am so surprised there's actually like wrapping like paper on it right now.
Sure.
Because normally it's a box,
Just rattling
yeah,
around in
4
there.
times too big,
Yeah.
and it's just rattling around like nobody's business. And I'm not going to put this over here because the box is a wee bit dirty, and I will not contaminate my space. So I know this is very enthralling. I apologize to everyone.
We're just building
Yeah,
tension.
Dave's like, Dave's moving to the left. Dave's moving to the right. He's bobbing. He's weaving just to reveal.
He could go all the way.
Could. Oh, there's my computer screen. But anyway, this is the new, they call it the Planet Ran Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Now, if you remember, or anybody out there remembers, that when Swamp Thing, my favorite issue of all time is number 56,
Yes.
when he goes into outer space, there's a story called My Blue Heaven. On this, he is trapped on an alien world, and he decides to take a leap of faith and just throws himself out into the cosmos to see if he will land anywhere in desperation to finally make his way home. At one point, he does land on planet Ran, or Ron. What do you say, Ran or Ron?
Probably Ron. You know, Ron Thanagar War and
Okay.
Ran Thanagar. I don't know. Rainy. I don't know.
Makes me want to sing.
I usually don't say it.
And I run so far away. But anyway, when he does, he lands there and he becomes a cacti.
Okay.
I'm sorry about the glare, everybody. I'm so unprofessional with this live stream stuff. I should be punished. But anyway, here's the box. It's a box.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that cover.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is 57, I believe, which immediately follows. And I think what is so great about 57, which isn't shown here, is Swamp Thing. The title actually has a question mark on it. And the
Okay.
other thing is this artwork is so fantastic because it's that red on white with the snow,
Sure.
which is super cool.
Very poppy.
Now,
yeah.
looking at this thing, well, to be perfectly honest, I just touted Swamp Thing, My Blue Heaven. This looks more like it would have been inspired by that than 57. And I say this because, again, glare. Is there any way I can hold this where my computer screen is not wreaking havoc?
No.
Well, there we go. You can see the inside process
Close
of the
enough.
Bada Bin show in his kneecaps. But if you look at his chest, there's a lot of like bursting thistles and stuff.
Sure.
Here, you're not going to see a whole lot of bursting thistles. There are some like what'd you call like those round things on the end of a cacti?
Succulents?
Something like that. I was going to say yeah,
Franzes or
whatever.
yeah, whatever those.
But I can totally see this more if you painted this blue. Almost being,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as embellished or as thick as he appeared in number 56, but in many ways, I think it could lean that way pretty hard. Now, this is a mega fig. It is slightly bigger than the normal 7-inch. It's cool, even though Swamp Thing definitely has an "oops, I crapped my pants" face on.
A bit.
You think so? Can you see that
bit.
okay from here, from your
Yeah.
vantage?
Yeah. I can see his mouth.
Okay, he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It sucks. Everything sucks. I'm red. Ah. So there you go. It's cool though. I mean, I'm glad to have it.
Sure.
I wonder if this will open the floodgates a little bit to, opening up different variations of Swamp Thing from his history.
Hopefully, it's just not repaints of that.
I could see him doing it, to be honest with you. Just closing that
Here's the
mouth.
blue one.
Yeah, exactly. And what would be funny is if they did like a chase and made the chase blue. I would storm McFarlane HQ and demand Todd McFarlane's head on a spike. All right.
Did I ever tell you about the McFarlane store back in the day?
No, please do.
Yeah, back they opened up around the Cardinal Stadium. They opened up an outlet mall, and they had a McFarlane store in there because McFarlane's he's here now.
Yes.
He's in Arizona.
Right.
And so it was like a standalone McFarlane store. I went in there looking for the Man of Miracles figure. The character that was supposed to be Miracle Man, but Todd lost the lawsuit, so he had to turn him into the Man of Miracles instead.
Okay.
And I went in, and they had like nothing. There was like nothing in this store. It was very, very sad.
There's like a dead mall
not there
with a
anymore.
cool carpet.
Huh?
You remember like the malls when the mall would close and all the stores were like emptied and full of like tumbleweeds, but they still had the cool carpet in the mall, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So the store sucked.
Store sucked.
So there was nothing in there.
Very little.
Okay.
Very, very little.
Jim Valentino was in there. He was underneath the desk. He's like, "Can I come out now,
Might
Todd? Todd, can I please come out?" You know?
That's what that smell was.
Yeah, that's what they right, exactly. I'll polish your McGuire home run ball again. Todd, I swear. I'll polish it. But anyway. Yeah, no, I didn't know you'd done that. And if you did, you tell me. I forgot because I'm a terrible human being with a horrible amount of brain
It's
cells.
not a great story.
Yeah.
It's not a great story.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have a lot going for it. You just like, I went into a place and it sucked.
That's it.
That's it, man. That's all I have to say about that. And it since how many years ago was that? You said?
Oh, this was probably 15 years ago.
And how much longer did it stay open after your last visit?
Not very. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you just missed like that going out of business sale.
Maybe.
You know, by a couple days or something, and you could have had your Mr. Miracle in hand, but you were just slow on the draw there.
Might have been.
Cowboy.
Might have been.
You know. Now, are you going to rush out and buy this Swamp Thing figure since I just put it on the Bada Bin show?
No.
So I'm not an influencer yet?
Not yet.
Bummer.
Yeah. One of these days.
One of these days. I don't even know where the hell I'm going to put this stupid thing. I don't know if you noticed, but well, I know you did because I've sent you a photo of it, but I slabbed that Hulk I showed off last episode. I bought a plastic case for it so I wouldn't have to dust it.
The Hulk's been contained.
He has been contained. It's not exactly the right size. There's a little bit of a gap on the top.
Okay.
But it's kind of cool because I could like stack things on top of it. So maybe I'll put Swamp Thing up there, but then that would make the other 800 figures I have in storage jealous.
It's true.
Like, you know, why the cool fresh fig? What about us? The ones that you bought way back in the day that are now on sale for 12 something on yet again Amazon. That's the worst. And that's going to happen. I guarantee it with this fig right here. I paid like $40 something for this thing. I'm willing to bet.
All right.
I'm willing to bet that give it like 2 months, I'm going to see it on sale for like $26.
Is that how it usually goes?
Yes and no. There are the rare exceptions, and I'm sure we've talked about this on air before. And those are the ones that I always seem to not get.
Okay, those are the ones that stay valuable or go on.
Or I had it on pre-order and I kind of waffled on it and then canceled it, and then later I'm like, I can't get it now because it's like $100 but these ones, in which are more like the niche characters and stuff like that, I think these will definitely drop. It's like right now, if you really wanted an ambush figure more than anything, you can go on Amazon and get it for like
ambush bug.
Ambush bug. What I call them?
Just ambush.
Really? I thought I said bug. Oh well. I suck. What am I gonna say? I shouldn't talk about this stuff anymore. I'm not qualified.
I didn't know if there was like some '90s character called Ambush. I forgot about.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
Sure. But anyway, I'll just blame the sniffles for everything.
There you go.
Not saying bug, or maybe I went boot. And it sounded like, you know, I didn't say anything, but I really said something, and it's you, not me.
Maybe. It might be.
Yeah.
Might be. I'm a little frazzled today. Could be me.
Yes, you are. You gotta relax, man. Are you gonna take anything?
Yeah. Maybe.
You got any good stuff? You got some stuff you can recommend?
Not stuff I'm going to talk about on the air.
Oh, bummer. That's what I was looking for, man. There's stuff you got to go on the streets to get. The mean streets of Zona.
Yeah.
Finding back alleys, you know?
Up at Lake Pleasant. Yeah.
Well, hey, you know, I don't know anything about Lake Pleasant, and just knowing society at large, it could be like the biggest ghetto on the face of the earth.
True.
I have no idea, you know? So, but by the fact that you just joked about it, it must be very nice.
It's quite nice.
And drugs are not a thing there. They don't know anything about illegal narcotics and what do you call it? Pleasant Point? What is it called again?
Lake Pleasant.
Lake Pleasant. You know what? Maybe you're lying. It's Arizona. How are there any bodies of water in Arizona?
It's man-made.
Of course.
Man-made.
Of course. Those sneaky bastards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was my...
It's very depressing when you look at the GPS in Arizona because we have river beds.
Okay.
They're dry. But if you're on the GPS, it looks like, oh, there's a swash of blue, and like you look and it's those thistles from Swamp Thing's chest.
Okay.
It's nothing, no wetness,
All right.
no lushness, no green.
No, nothing. Just a little whoop.
Mm.
There you go.
That's
A little
it.
trickle of water. There's some like homeless guy drooling on the corner of Lake Pleasant. They're like, there you go.
When it rains for more than 20 minutes, the kids come out with the fishing rods and everything.
That's all you got. So you're going to be doing some reading on the plane, I take it. You mentioned your Switch, and
Yeah.
you are going to do some electronic comic reading
I am.
via an
I
app.
am.
What is this app called again?
It is called Hoopla.
Hoopla.
Hoopla. Hoopla. It's a free app. It like you sync it with your library card,
Oh,
and there's a ton of free stuff on there.
okay.
That's one of the cool things when I was doing NML Crossing. The entire No Man's Land saga is for free on Hoopla. So like if you don't want to go out and track everything down, if you don't want to buy everything digital, you have a library card, you got it.
That's
And
cool.
it's easy to use. It downloads quickly. It's good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff. So I got a few like old Titans trades on there right now, and I might dig in, see if there's anything else, because it is a long flight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, and if those drugs that you procured illegally don't affect your system in the right way, you got to occupy your time somehow.
It's Benadryl.
Oh yeah, sure. That's the street name now. Benadryl. All right.
Benadryl DM.
Yeah. So I get some comics since the last time we were on
Yeah.
air. I didn't read everything, and I'm not going to show everything that I purchased.
Okay.
But I did bring a few here to
Cool.
discuss real quick, provided you're down. You're cool with it.
Absolutely. I love talking comics.
And well, we would hope so, considering that's the whole point of this entire
Oh.
program.
I think we could have fooled them these past few episodes.
Yeah. Well, last one,
we've been talking about everything but
the
comics.
last one was a little off the rails or what have you. But listen,
Well,
we're entitled. Okay.
sure.
So first things first here, right off the top. This was not planned. It's just off the top of the pile. I got Absolute Superman number trace,
Cool.
number 3 here, and
There's a dog on the
there
cover.
is, and we're gonna get more into crypto later because
Mhm.
I'll save it. Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
talk a little bit more about crypto, but not the currency because we are doing comics today,
Mhm.
and I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. But
Yeah, me either.
I was so freaked out because I hated how like Jason Aaron would treat Krypton kind of like Silver Age fashion, and I don't really care when any writer kind of, I don't know, uses like regular human words and just jumbles them around a little bit and then expects us to think they're like alien names for things.
Sure.
I don't know. So I was a little worried. I'm like, this is going to be a kind of like pseudo origin issue.
All
Nothing
right.
takes place in the now. Everything is like set up for why Kal-El would have came to Earth and why he did.
Gotcha.
And I love this issue, man. I think it was the best issue of the run thus far, albeit we're talking a very small sample size with only 3
Sure.
issues. But I thought this was really well written. I think it was paced fantastic. As you know, pacing is very important for me.
Yeah.
And the artist here, Sandoval, I've never been a big fan of his, but I think he slayed it in Absolute Superman number 3. So I'm shocked.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not a body of water in Arizona because my jaw should be slack and just fluid should be coming out of my face.
There you
So I'll
go.
be excited to finally hear what you think about it.
Sure.
Because, sometimes our opinions differ, but I respect your opinion greatly. And
Same.
there are times when I really like something, you read it and go, meh, where I run into a adjacent room and weep like a baby and get my therapist on the horn because I feel rejected.
Rejected and dejected.
Here we go. Well, this luck would have it. More Superman. Superman number 21. No shame in my game. If Dan Mora is on the book, I'm buying it, baby. This was a weird one.
Okay.
This was like an interlude issue. I think it's called Date Now. Save the Date is right on the cover, but it's basically date night.
Okay.
With Lois and Clark but now they both have superpowers. And there's even like little
Yeah.
interludes in there with some side characters that would take up like a single page.
Sure.
It was all right. Again, the art really made the difference here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those. And I think Williamson is he's been a very good writer on Superman. But it was like last page. Wait for that last page. That's what you're basically paying for.
Sure, the reveal.
Yeah,
or
of a new
the cliffhanger.
new villain about to enter the scene. But yeah, Dan Mora, man. This one is just coincidence because Superman happens to be on the cover and Dan Mora draws it. But this is Justice League Unlimited, number 2. Did you get this one already?
Not yet. Not yet. My package will probably be here probably a week and a half, I'd figure.
Okay. It's okay. I liked it better than issue 1.
Just like the first issue.
Yeah, I liked it better, though, than issue 1.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Was it mind-blowingly good where I'm fully vested in the current state of everybody's in the Justice League? Not necessarily. But do I need to say it? The artwork is... Stop.
Oh, no. I hate the logo.
Oh, yeah. Well...
Oh, it's so bad.
It's funny you say that. I would try to hold this up to the screen a little bit more if it wasn't for that dastardly glare I'm getting.
Yeah.
But you can barely even see the Unlimited part in there because it mixes with the art. Just might as well call the book Justice League.
Yeah. No, it feels a lot like when Hickman took on the Avengers, and it was like everybody was an Avenger, and like the last page of every issue is like Tony and Cap talking about how the Avengers need to be bigger. And it's like, okay, let's add everybody. Okay, no, we need to be bigger yet. And just,
Well, this one does have something to do with the aftermath, of course, because it's a Mark Waid joint of AbPow, Absolute Power.
Yeah.
And the kind of like filling of Darkseid's void. So I guess if you're interested in where that's going, that's cool. Another thing I should mention about this issue real quick is that you had spoiled for me. I let you. I allowed it. I said, come on, man, spoil away. But the Lois Lane Superwoman special, which I didn't buy, and where she had gotten her powers from.
Yeah.
Well, in this issue, the atoms, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be a limited series with all the different atoms involved.
Yes, yes.
They revealed there is a countermeasure to all these powers being switched around and taken and what have you. So I found that kind of intriguing. And it wasn't like it took up a big part of the issue. It was only like a page, but still I'm like, aha! There we go. We have a...
shoe is yet to drop.
There we go. Saga number 71. This is only one more issue left to go before their next hiatus because they do this in the dreaded seasons. I will say this current arc. Thank you. I didn't want to say anything out of school here and sound like a fool, but yes, this arc has been very slow, very dry. A friend of mine at work, Bada, he really likes this book as well, and we've both been like, well, when is something going to happen? When is something of note?
Is there an end in sight? Like, is this slated to go 100 issues?
107, I believe it was.
Okay, so yeah, I guess you're in that dreaded part 4 of 6 from the old Marvel trades, where
maybe, yeah,
it's kind of that lull before the action picks up again. Maybe it's just a little sparse.
Well, yeah, I think this is probably the most sparse arc of the entire series thus far.
Gotcha.
But thankfully, this issue, Paul de Williamson, it has that last page reveal on it. But there's only one issue left before we leave you hanging. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And I've been on that Brian K. Vaughan kick lately, and he's been kicking my butt and doing some great work. So, why question the man's methods?
There you go.
Yeah. And then I said I'd save the dog for later. I didn't read this week. Excuse me. But this is, we had talked about this as we talk about everything. I don't like crypto one iota, but I've been trying to fill in holes, especially in the Joe Kelly run.
Gotcha.
So here is, I forget what issue it was, Action Comics 789 with Crypto large and in charge, and there's the villain Cancer down there with a K.
With a
in
K.
his doghouse, and it's actually kind of a cool cover. I like colors with like a yellow or pink background. It really makes him pop.
Yeah.
But yet again,
Is that Monkey?
I'm sorry. This one, no. This one is Duncan Rollo, I believe.
Oh, Rouleau. Okay,
Rouleau,
yeah.
Rouleau, Target, yes,
Rouleau.
Rouleau. But yeah, so I want to bring this up because this is one that has been on my radar for a long time, but I just don't
Mm-hmm.
want to fill that hole because Crypto's on the cover, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those weird things, man. And I guess this is like a topic of discussion for another time, which is our forte. But,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do you feel about Silver Age concepts and stuff still, like, kicking today? And should they be cherished? Should they be kept? Should some things maybe, and I don't want to use the word retcon or something, but
Sure.
really like turn down a little bit to the point where you want to make it more special. So maybe like once every 24 issues, 2 years or something. You know?
I feel like we're in the age where everything needs to be like every trademark needs to be re-upped over and over and over again. It's like you gotta like they could have like a Justice League of super animals now. You
Yes.
know, there's just so many of them out there. It does feel, I don't know, it feels unnecessary, but I guess we're talking about fictional stuff
Yeah.
anyway. Um, I liked it when they would do silly things back in, around the turn of the century, where like, or actually probably the mid '90s, where like Bibbo got a dog and named it Krypton, but like they ran out of letters for his like name tag, so it said Crypto.
Uh huh.
And it's like, oh, Crypto's back. It's Bibbo's dog. I thought that was kind of neat. A callback to people who get it, just a silly thing for people who didn't. But then they started bringing them back. Like, what was it? The Jeff Loeb Supergirl. Like, we had the Peter David Supergirl. That was fine. The Matrix deal and the Fallen Angel and all that. But then they bring back actual Kara Zor-El. And it's like, okay. Like, that's your first domino chip tipped over. It's like, okay, Superman's not the last survivor. It's going to be her, then the rest, and then just an explosion of just Kryptonians showing up.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that I think they used to do a lot in the Silver Age for like one-offs. It's like, oh, here's Superman's long-lost brother you never heard
Yeah,
of
of
before.
course.
It's
Because
like,
nothing
okay,
mattered month to month. It wasn't. Yeah. It
no,
was. It was.
no. But when the fans of that stuff, or just the people who want to like be like, hey, I got one past the goalie, reintroduce that stuff and make it actual canon in a time where we actually are paying attention to things. It really hinders. It just cheapens a lot of things, and it's hard to like walk it all back.
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't know.
Well, I mean, let's invite Grant Morrison into the room.
Hmm.
Because really, would he have a dog or would he have a large slug with 20 tentacles that regurgitates acid? Because that would be a natural kind of animal that would live on Krypton.
Sure,
But yeah, a
sure.
dog in a cape, whatever. I get it. There's a place for it.
Hmm.
As you had just mentioned, we're talking superhero comics here.
Sure.
We're not, talking reality. But still, for me, every time I see Crypto, I see a dog in a cape. I go, ugh. Like, seriously? I don't know. I just
What
don't
about
need it.
Streaky the Super Cat?
Any of them. Ace the Bat Hound, all of it.
Beppo the Super
You know?
Monkey.
You didn't read Absolute Batman 3, right?
Haven't got it.
Damn, you got to get those
Yeah.
comics sooner. I was going to
Yeah.
say, there is a Bibowski
Oh,
appearance
okay.
in that, and I was curious, as yet again, to what you thought about it, but now we're going to have
Sure,
to wait.
sure. I like Bibbo.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Let's see if you like Absolute Bibbo, you know?
That's the next miniseries that's going to
I
come
don't know
out.
about that, but that's something you totally did not expect to see. It's like Ultimate Irving Forbush or Willie
Hmm.
Lumpkin.
There he
There
is.
we go. In the Ultimate Universe, Willie Lumpkin, the Ultimate Mailman. But yeah. Anyway, so those are my reads. I still get more comics. I gotta dig through and stuff, and it's been
Sure.
tough between trades and my single issues, and then my work schedule. I've been getting my butt kicked all week, so I'm just exhausted. And have you ever had those nights you come home, you're like, man, I'm gonna read. I'm just gonna focus on reading. That's all I'm gonna do. And one eyeball goes up, one eyeball goes down, and you go,
Oh yeah.
make sure my alarm is on. Put the book to the side. I love you, family. Out you go.
The end.
That's
Yeah.
it. And that's what's been happening to me all week. And I've been trying to really dive into reading, especially dealing with something we're going to talk about our next segment here,
Hmm.
provided
Hmm.
you're ready for it.
Yeah, yeah, because I haven't done much reading here. I'm trying to look around at my messy floor. Yeah, I think I read that Lois Lane special, the Superwoman special. I thought that was quite good. I liked the reveal at the end of it, which we won't spoil. Um, and I'm trying to think of what else I read.
Okay. Well, you don't have to
Yeah,
say anything because
I could not say
as the
something.
humble
Yeah.
producer of this program, I have already
Hmm.
switched our screen over
Oh,
to the next
then
topic,
then
and you're
then
just
shut me
you're
up.
just dwelling on the
Yeah,
past. You're like, yeah, I don't know.
that's what I do. That's what I
Maybe I
do.
read something, maybe I didn't, and I'm ready to move on. And here we are.
Yeah.
So,
Find out next week.
yeah, exactly. Um, Midlife crisis. We talked about this last week,
Hmm.
so we can talk
Hmm.
about your reads next week. Let's dive back into
Yeah.
last week. How I had made a purchase recently because I was having a post midlife crisis
Hmm.
where I am fast approaching. I'm not there yet, so slow down. But still, in
Hmm.
my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's like a freight train. I'm approaching the big 5-0.
Hmm.
Dude, that's scary stuff for me.
It's scary stuff for
I'm like,
anybody.
and no disrespect to anybody who is of that age, but like maybe you might have or remember or recall being in your late 40s and you're like, I'm not old till I'm 50, man. I'm good until I'm 50. And now I'm like, oh crap, that's coming.
We ain't old till we're 75.
Okay, I'm glad you're pushing that up. You're sliding that needle over. You're like, ooh, there we
Yeah.
go.
Check in with me in 30
Yeah,
years. Well,
yeah, exactly.
we ain't old till we're 90.
Right. We're not old until we're an AI consciousness uploaded into our machine.
There you
That's when
go.
we're old. But I'm like, man, what have I always wanted to do with my life? What do I always want to accomplish? I always wanted to write a comic. And like I mentioned, I did fanfic and nobody cared about it. No
Mhm.
one liked it. And I don't blame anybody. But some schmuck is like putting Swamp Thing stories on the internet unsolicited. I get it. But I was like, maybe it's because I'm not like an educated person either. Everything, much like my fantasy football championship up there, I run on instinct. I run on my own internal juices.
Mhm.
So, as you and I have tried writing some things in the past
Mhm.
together. Like, there's no formatting to it per se, other than like from what you brought to the table, or me just kind of doing guesswork as far as like what a script really looks like, or what people.
Oh, I'm just as lost.
Okay, see, I thought you
I'm
were the
just as
pro.
lost. Nah, I script myself,
Nah,
but I really, as for writing a script, there's nothing scarier than trying to write a script and then realizing that you don't know what people sound like when they
yeah,
talk. Like, let's go with Mark Wade.
okay,
Mark Wade, he is a really good writer,
sure,
right? You read the blur, you read the balloons, and it's like, okay, where do all these words actually come from, and how are they replying in the way that they do? And like, because that's not how we talk. That's not how. I mean, we talk very short bursts usually.
hmm,
A conversation is like 5 words in, 5 words out, you know? But in comics or in any kind of literature, dialogue is like a soliloquy. It's like you're stating a paragraph in conversational form. And that's way over my head.
see, that's not really the part I've ever struggled with. I
Hmm.
understand what you're saying, but as far as
Hmm.
dialogue, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. I think I do okay with it, but
I just write everybody with my voice, which ain't good.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in other people's shoes, there, brother.
I have trouble with
Slip
that.
on some other human beings' Crocs every once in a while. See
Mm.
how they
Maybe
feel.
some purple ones, some green
Yeah,
ones.
slap
Yeah.
some charms on there and be
Hmm.
like,
Gibbets.
excuse me?
They're called
They're
gibbets.
called gibbets.
That's what they
The
say.
charms on a Croc are called gibbets. You learn
Hmm.
something new every day.
Every minute of every
Forget about
day.
instructional manuals. I got you. But I was going to actually cite you again because, like, when you and I were
Hmm.
doing a little project together and stuff, you were. I never even thought about doing this, but you would put, like, page
Hmm.
two, SFX. And I'm like, sound effects? I never even thought about mentioning, like, putting in a power or when. Be like, like, the formatting and stuff was something that always
Sure.
kind of, like, was a tough thing for me to understand. And I've even bought a couple comics before. I don't know if you remember. Was it in the early 2000s even they did like uncut kind of, what are they called,
The director's
director's
cut
cut. Like, speaking of Mark Waid,
with the actual speeches, with the actual scripts.
yeah.
At
So
the end
you'd
of them?
have the pencils
Yeah,
raw, and then you'd also have the
sure.
scripts. Like, I have those, and I flip
Hmm.
through them, or
Sure.
different books that might have been like, oh,
And they did that with the Nuff Said books back around the turn of the century. They would include like the first 6 or 7 pages of script without any dialogue and stuff to show you just the flow of the
I actually
story.
like that event, and I know it's
That
weird.
was it felt like a big waste of time,
Okay, but I thought it was cool
but
at the
some of it
time.
was okay. Some of it was
Yeah,
okay.
so, exactly. I didn't read everything, but for the
I
handful
did.
of books I read, I was like, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I was just like, dude, it's now or never. Poo or get off the pot, man. Like, at least
Hmm.
try something. Stop
Sure.
thinking that you just didn't achieve your dreams. You're still alive. You're still breathing.
Yep.
Caution, falling piano any moment now. But you get my drift here. So
Of course.
I went online. I was gonna say went out. I had no pants on, and I
Hmm.
ordered this book, which is called The Art of Comic Book Writing by Mark Neese.
Okay.
Just doing a little googling around, it does have some good reviews as far as being a nice little instruction manual. As far as, I mean, it says here, it'll do everything as far as like teaching you how to come up with a concept, to do like a pitch and
Hmm.
what have you. I primarily was like looking for just like a class that I didn't have to
Sure.
go to because, as I just mentioned, I don't like wearing pants. Um, and thus far, I'm like 20 pages in, which is pretty meager and small. But I
Sure.
think it seems like it's a fairly nice little instruction manual here. And
Gotcha.
it taught me a word that I did not know before, and I feel really
Was it?
stupid. Hold on, let me flip it open here so I can
Sure.
read you the thing. I know this is enthralling.
Yeah. And but the pitches is weird because like that's the only thing I don't have a problem with. Like I think I can rattle off some good ideas, just good original, sort of high concept ideas. But after that, I'm lost.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that sounds interesting. Expand upon it. I can't.
I think that's everybody's dream, like just to be the pitch man.
Oh
And
man,
I'll come up with the
if I
idea.
could
You
sell
write it.
pitches, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so here we are. This is actually on page 9, so it wasn't very far in the book. I'm like, hey, how come I never heard that word before? I was about to be very self-deprecating, but anyway, syllogism. Have you heard of the syllogism? Am I pronouncing that right?
I don't know that you're pronouncing it right.
Don't make fun of me. Syllogism.
No, I never heard of it.
Really? Now I'm feeling smarter every second. Here I
There
go.
you go. That's what I'm here for.
Maybe I'm still pronouncing it wrong, but syllogism or gism, syllo, is a deductive line of reasoning often consisting of a major and minor premise. For example, if A happens, then it will cause B. If B happens, then it will cause C, and so on. If I cut my foot, I may be late for work. If I'm late for work, I could be in trouble. This type of logic is of the utmost importance in storytelling,
Hmm.
to which I understand and I
Hmm.
get,
Sure.
but I just didn't realize there was a term actually applied to it.
Oh, I mean, this term's for everything.
Oh, I know, but I mean, like okay, and again, this just shows you how dumb I am, not knowing that there was a legit term for something. Me hearing that for the first
Mhm.
time in my 40, almost 7 years on the face of this earth, I feel like, holy wow, the doors are finally opening for me.
There you
Like
go.
now,
Blew your mind.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna get through it.
Mhm.
Who knows if I'll actually accomplish anything? And I think that's part of the problem. And another reason why last episode I kind of linked it with resolutions a little bit,
Sure.
because
Sure.
we're not resolution people. Yet it's
Mhm.
more like it's time to make a change, right? It happens to
Goal
everybody the
setting.
moment the clock hits midnight on New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
Like, what am I doing with my life?
Oh, it's the time where we reflect. It's built into our clocks.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's very scary. What else have you learned so far? Like, what's the tone of the book? Is it conversational?
It feels like I'm taking a
Is
class.
it textbook?
It feels like textbook.
It's very texty. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
it's not. Like to the point where you're trying to like do trigonometry or something.
I'm sure it's not dry or nothing, but is it just the? Because I know I've read a lot of those too. At least the first like 20 pages of some of them. And some of them are really buddy pal with you. Like it's almost like it's written like a wizard article, where it's like, you want to, you want to be a comic book writer, and that sucks. That doesn't do you much good. But then there's the other ones that take like the Chris and Reggie approach, where it's like, sit down, we're going to learn you something, and it's like, I don't want that either.
Okay.
So it's like, what's the
happy medium?
Yes.
Okay.
And what do you get from that?
Okay.
Because when you're trying to sell a book like that, you're selling an idea. Mm-hmm. You're selling hope.
Right.
But even the act of going out and getting that book, whether you clicked buy it now or went to Half Price Books or went to Barnes & Noble or whatever the hell you went, you did something semi-social, right? You did something. You reached out in a way.
Okay.
Which I think is a huge part of the creative process, is discourse and give and take and, dare I say, synergy. I know synergy is a corporate term nowadays, but there is something very synergist about the creative process. But when all's said and done, it's going to be you sitting in front of a blank screen by yourself. How do you link the two? Because that's my problem. I can talk. You and I have talked stories, and we've gone back and forth, and it's like you get energized, you get pumped. You're like, this is great. Mm-hmm. Then you open up a Word document or a Scrivener document or whatever the hell, and you're like, shit.
Yeah. No, I mean,
because it's a very, very solitary endeavor, and there are no checks and balances. And if you're someone like me, every single word I write is worse than the one I wrote before it.
No.
In my mind. So it's like I go into it already expecting to fail. And, I spent tons of money on the how-tos just to justify the effort I'm going to put into something. It's like, well, I spent $100 on these books. I better do something. And then I don't. Mm-hmm. So it's about how I've yet to find a book that actually gets me over that hump. And I don't even know if that's the kind of book I need. It might be a deeper psychological, get your head out of your ass kind of book.
Yeah.
But I would love for there to be something that kind of massages you over that hump into, this is easy, you can do this. Because, I mean, look at the people writing comics now.
I understand. And I get it. It's just I can't relate 100% because... For me, it's not like what I'm writing is crap, or I have a writer's block or anything else like that. I actually think, much like we were talking about, my concepts and everything are very sound.
Same here.
It's just the structure is something I struggle with, where I think what I'm putting on the internet right now, what I'm throwing on this page, people aren't going to take it seriously because of the way I formatted it, the way that it looks, the way that, not as far as content, but the way it reads, very unprofessional, very sloppy.
Are there APAs anymore?
Are there what?
The amateur APAs.
APAs.
The amateur publishers something. I remember there were Teen Titans APAs where people would like write fan fiction and they would be not bound, but stapled and distributed.
Probably not.
I think Legion had stuff like that. I don't know if there's anything like that in the world anymore.
I'm sure there's online fan mags and stuff, maybe, where people submit. Yeah,
because that's where your man Brian K. Vaughan started.
Yeah.
If I can remember right, it was him and like Jay Ferber and Devin Grayson. They were all like in the same like class of APA writers, authors.
Okay.
But I don't know if those things exist anymore. If they don't, they should. There should be like a Reader's Digest version of fanfic, just to maybe set your mind at ease. Because I'm sure whatever you're putting out there, it's not. The format be damned. If it's interesting, it's interesting.
I don't know, man. I think. Okay, you're my friend, so you're always gonna look at my stuff and go, "Yeah, it's okay," or whatever.
You're my mom. You have to.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Aunt Peg. Thanks for liking my post. Thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, you know what I mean. So I think first impressions mean a lot. It's been said a billion
Hmm.
times. And if someone comes
Sure.
across something out of the blue on the web that you did, they don't know you from Adam. They're going to look at it initially, and if they're in the biz or what have you, have
Hmm.
experience with it, and they're going to say immediately, "This is one sloppy bastard," or "This guy kind of has a clue." You know what I mean? Not even getting past page one to find out the story's necessarily great.
Okay.
That's just my. I don't know. Maybe you're talking about not liking what you write. I maybe not liking
Hmm.
the way my writing looks in the
Okay.
mirror. You know what I mean? I need to put a nice fresh wig on it. And,
Paint of coat.
yes,
Yeah.
paint of coat and put some makeup on it. Put some lipstick on that pig, so at least
There you
people
go.
will check out the pig before they call it a pig.
There you
And
go.
that's why I wanted a book like this.
Hmm.
Which feels like a class. It feels like I'm getting an education on something from someone who's an instructor. I don't know how great of an instructor he is in person. He does have a list of some credits here. I'm actually looking at the back of the book, which lists some of his stuff, like adaptations of Twilight Zone, The
Hmm.
Spirit, Legends of the Dark Knight, Hellraiser, Alien Encounters. But he teaches at the Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD,
Hmm.
which sounds like you need an ointment to fix. But
You might. Yeah.
but anyway, and I got it on sale. I got it from Half Price
Hmm.
Books. So, but maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. But to me, it was that reaching out into the dark, going, "Please, I got to try
Hmm.
something because all I keep doing is bitching about my life and never accomplishing a damn thing." So, you know, yeah. Now, but you've got a fair share of instruction books.
I do. I
Have you?
grabbed a few off the shelf
Why,
here
why,
before we
why don't you
started.
show them off to our viewing public and see how
Yeah,
many hundreds
yeah.
of dollars you have spent?
Well, this is only a small
Okay,
sampling of them.
let's check them
Um,
out.
this one is from one of our favorites here, Peter David.
Oh
This is
yeah,
comics writing for comics and graphic novels. It's written. It's Peter David. It's written in a very approachable sort of way, kind of like those "But I digress" columns that I
right.
that wrecked my life over the summer last year.
Yes. Oh boy.
Similar, but it's also like full of it just a lot of exercises are in here. It looks like it would be very helpful for anybody who has any kind of confidence in their abilities. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. Um, Now these came out. I think I'm missing one. I think four of these books came out, but I have three, and they are the DC Comics guides to writing and penciling and inking. I think there's a coloring one too that I don't have, because I never really got into much of the art side. I tried, which didn't work out so well. But the writing one was very cool. It's written by Denny, and there's stuff. I think this is where I learned about. It was very granular with the comics, the behind the scenes comic stuff here. There's something called the Levitz paradigm, where Paul Levitz pops in to talk about how when he was writing the Legion, one of our favorites, he had like a big whiteboard with like a grid on it where like every character was listed, every issue was listed, and he would put exactly what every character was doing in every single issue before he even started writing or plotting or anything. It's like, this is what these characters will be doing, kind of setting a framework for how the story is going to come together. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. Something way over my head. Because I think we've talked about this before. Like when we're kids, you can knock out a new character in an afternoon,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Nowadays, you give me 100 years, I couldn't knock out a character. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I don't think you're giving
Blank,
yourself enough credit as someone who's like written some
perhaps.
stuff with you in the past. You had mentioned confidence, and
Hmm.
yeah, like you're knocking yourself kind of hard here, but I think you're better than you think you are, kid. You got moxie, you got
I
style.
could have been a
You could have
contender.
been a
Could
contender,
have
but
been a
I
contender.
know working with you and collaborating with you on some of that stuff years ago.
Hmm.
Um,
God, we were so young.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I didn't sense like, you had mentioned too, like when you first do it, it's like rah rah rah, like yeah, we're working
Oh
together,
yeah,
everything's great. So maybe that also contributed a little bit to it too, like, the
possibly.
blood's pumping, everything else. But it
Sure,
wasn't
sure.
like working with you. I could see you were struggling and fighting yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mm,
So maybe like were saying you need a book on self esteem.
maybe self-efficacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. More than how to ink comics by who's on that cover? It looks like Walt Simonson or Eric Larson or something. What is it?
Which
The
one?
inking. DC's Guide to Inking.
It does look like Larson. I don't know who that is.
Oh no no no! It was the Superman one. Actually, I was wrong. Maybe that
Oh,
one.
oh, this one looks like
No,
Simonson.
that's what it was. That a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
That's got a little Larson in it too.
a bit. Oh, yeah, definitely does.
Fair bit of
Definitely
larceny.
does. Yeah, sure does.
Okay.
Very interesting. Now, when I tried drawing, that's another scary thing. I mean, you dabble in draw. You do draw. I don't want to say you
I
dabble in drawing.
doodle.
You actually do draw. Well, I've seen some of your doodles. They're quite good. Now, how would you approach a blank page? And you gotta tell a story on this page.
Okay, my problem with my entire life, and this applies
Hmm.
to the Bada Bin show too, which
Hmm.
may be a benefit to you because you were always or always have been with your own personal podcasts or your collaboratives with
Hmm.
Reggie in the past. We're very structured.
Hmm.
I riff on everything.
Sure,
So
sure.
every kid in the United States who liked comics of our vintage had How to Draw
Hmm.
Comics the Marvel Way
Of course, got it right
growing
over
up.
there. Yeah.
And I remember getting that book as a kid and being like, yeah, man, finally, I'm going to learn how to like draw
I'm
figures,
legit. Hmm.
physiques, proportions, hands,
Hmm.
everything. And I
Yep.
tried and I got frustrated with it and I just went back to riffing. It's like when I told you with my writing and stuff, man, where I just go with my vibes.
Hmm.
And that's
I was
my approach
I was
to
the same way
life.
art was. I was the same way art wise. I would draw from like the head
Oh
down,
yeah, I still do.
and then like when I saw like the actual like mannequin, the shapes,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
sucks.
This is
It's
work.
like this feels like
Yeah.
work. It feels like school. It's like I just want to draw a face. I just want to draw, but I mean, you need those things to tell you to actually keep things in some sort of. So it doesn't look like you have like a GI Joe next to a He-Man. It's like you need everybody to be similarly sized in your story, unless the story calls for something not that. But yeah, that was one of those piss and vinegar things. Getting How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Opening up, I got stuck right at the start because it showed you all the expensive shit you had to buy. It's like, hey mom, can I have India ink? Get the
Yeah,
hell out of here.
right.
You're not getting India
Yeah.
ink and brushes. Get out of here. And then you get to the, Reed Richards is 9 heads tall or whatever the hell it was. It's like, oh God,
Yeah.
how am I going to do that? And it's like, then you look at the panels and it's like a panel's this big. How do I get that many? How do I do this? And then you look at all the stuff that you did by riffing and it's like, this sucks. This doesn't make sense. Why did I think this was
Yeah.
good? How did I think this was good? And I mean, one of my biggest problems was, in a word, perspective.
Let me enlarge you so we can see this in better
Yeah,
perspective. There we go.
perspective by David Chelsea.
Oh.
A great, helpful book if you think you can actually do it. I do not, but it's told. It reminds me a lot of the Scott McCloud stuff. Like it's told as sequential art. It's kind of like what the hell is it? Understanding Comics. Forgot the name of McCloud's book. It's very much like that. Chelsea's got a really good conversational style. I read this thing like during my early 20s. I probably read it a dozen times, and I think I probably drew one thing after it, and was like, "Oh, this is hard," so I stopped.
Right.
Because I mean, they get very granular with it. It's like, okay, well, if you cut the room in half this way, this is what you. It's like, oh God, I'm not smart enough for that. I'm just not.
you know, it's funny you bring up how smart you are because I am a
Hmm.
very stunted human being in many different ways, okay? And a large reason for that is I've always had a problem with authority.
Okay.
I've always been buck the trends. I'm being taught something, like argue with the teacher, always play devil's advocate.
Sure.
And man, has that bit me in the ass so many times in my life. And this is a true
Sure.
story. I'm going to be straight
Hmm.
up honest. When I was a little kid, you mentioned you like some of my doodles and stuff.
Hmm.
I was in like a painting class privately, not even in school. And all the kids in school would be like, Dave, draw me this, draw me that. And, I
Hmm.
was the artist in my class.
Sure.
And then when I hit high school, we had an art teacher. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, which I probably wouldn't utter on air anyway.
Mm.
As to,
Mrs.
there we go,
Smith.
Mrs. Smith. I don't want to slander her memory, but I was a
Hmm.
dick. And I'm going to tell you why. Like, it was like life drawing, where it'd be still life
Hmm.
and stuff. Like, draw this bowl of
Sure.
fruit. And
Yeah.
I hated it. I hate being, I
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
draw superheroes. I wanted to
Hmm.
draw, show me how to, like, draw a skyscraper and Batman leaping off. Don't
Hmm.
make me freaking shade a pear.
Yeah.
And one day she brought in her bicycle from when she was a little kid. Now, mind you, this is early 90s, so the bike is, 50s style bike or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
just merciless. I was like, that bike is lame. Like, oh, lady. And I mean, I was just like, I don't want to draw that piece of crap. Long story short here, I got kicked out of art class. I was not allowed to return. She was like, I'm not
Oh
teaching this
damn.
kid. I'm not doing it. And I had to take a different class, not even an art class, because I
Damn.
was so disruptive in
Sure.
her. And I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Hindsight, of course, being 20 by 20,000 or whatever the perfect vision would be,
For sure.
you know, hyperbole here. But anyway, um, at that time, though, I was like, yeah, I told them. I
Yeah.
showed them, man. And
Screw you. I'm going
yeah,
home.
yeah, and I'm gonna go become the greatest artist that ever lived. I don't need you. You can't show me anything. And oh my god, I'm such an idiot. Like, had I only just said yes, and sucked it
Yeah.
up and realized I'm in school, I'm
Hmm.
here to learn. God only knows what I could have accomplished with some serious, like, not even serious, minor tutelage, a little bit,
Yeah.
a
Just
little
basics.
basics, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. To which I
Yeah.
was just
That's.
no
Hmm.
way. And then
Oh
later
yeah. I
on,
skipped that stuff too. Yeah.
I don't want to get too,
No. No.
verbal diarrhea here, but I remember later when I had switched schools, I was allowed into this art class, and this one teacher we had, he let me draw like Hulk covers and stuff, which was kind of
Hmm.
cool. And then he also did, I don't know if you guys ever tried, or you ever tried this, but the thing with the flashlight, where you do like the slow motion photography, so you could like do light paintings and stuff.
I think I've heard of it. I never did it though.
I love that kind of stuff because to
Hmm.
me it was like abstract and cool and different and like
Different.
not
Sure.
drawing yet again an old rusty bicycle or something.
Yeah.
But even then, by then I think it was too late because guess what? Entered the picture then. It was girls and partying and
Hmm.
having fun and everything else. So I wasn't really fully vested then.
Oh yeah.
So I just blew it, man.
Hmm.
Like left and right over and over again. So now I'm going to go into the shower and crouch into fetal position and try to wash off all my regret.
All the shame and regret.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
No, I know I skipped a lot of the basics too because it's like who wants to draw the fruit? Who wants to draw who wants to draw the cubes?
Mm.
And because like that's one of the training things. If you look online to how to draw, it's like okay, draw 7,000 boxes today. And it's like f you,
Yeah,
not doing that.
right.
But that's your ground. That's getting more accustomed with the way your hand works. Understanding how much pressure you put on things, how straight a line you can draw, if it's even worth drawing a straight line. It's basics, it's fundamentals, and I feel like I just wanted it to be done. I'm the kind of person though. Whenever I'd start a class in college, I'd be pissed off at myself for not knowing the answer on the last page, because it's like I should already know this.
Hmm.
I should be ahead of this, and it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of ridiculous expectation, and it's one of those things that, like your disruption, bites me in the ass still.
Yeah.
To this day. Because a lot of it, when I was buying these books, it was more about like you hear about the person who writes in public, the person who goes to Starbucks to write their novel, just so people come up to them and be like, "Oh, what are you writing about? Oh, you're a novelist? Ooh, oh, that's so great. I want to write a novel too. Oh man, that must be awesome." It's like, so when you go into your comic store, your bookstore, and you buy perspective for comic book artists, people are like, "Oh, you're a comic book artist. Oh, that's wonderful. That's great." And you're like, "Yeah." Knowing full well, it's like, I'm going to get 10 pages into this and it's going to go on the show.
Yeah.
It's about the presentation, just presenting myself as something that I'm not. And that brings me to the infinite jest of creative books here.
Ooh, let's see.
When me and Chris Bailey were doing, I don't remember which show it was, but I think it was the Moratori show, the Strikeforce Moratori show. We would cover the Marvel bullpen bulletins, which is something I want to do with you as well, because I think that's a lot of fun. We'll put a pin in that and come back, though. And they would ask these comic creators, this is from the 80s, be like, what's, the last great book you read? And they would name like this highfalutin sort of like real pretentious book. So anytime we would talk about it, it's like the most pretentious book I could think about is Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. So it's like, oh, Infinite Jest. Now, when it comes to the creative process here, there's a book that kind of precedes itself. You might have heard of it. I don't know. Story by Robert McKee.
I have not heard of Story by Robert McKee.
Story. Now, this Robert McKee, I believe, was a screenwriter. Yeah, he was the award-winning Methods from Hollywood's Master of the Craft. I heard about this book from an interview with Brian Michael Bendis, where he touted he lauded this book. And I guess the movie adaptation with Nicolas Cage, there's like a bit where he goes to like a Robert McKee symposium or class.
You're talking about the movie adaptation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he goes to a McKee something, like a Tony Robbins event, but it was Robert McKee. And this is a book that I liked being seen with. I don't think I ever made it more than halfway through it. I've tried it, running start and all, dozens of times. I never made it more than halfway through. Probably confidence issues, for sure. But the problem with me is I expect everything to be a science. Where on NML Crossing or any podcast I do, I'll refer to something as being Comics Razor instead of Occam's Razor, where it's like the most obvious thing is going to happen is going to happen. Comics Razor. These are very simple things to learn. These are very simple things to read and to understand, but putting them into practice is just another level for me.
Okay.
Because it's like, okay, what do you do with this? You do that. Okay, well, that's obvious, but what else? No, just that.
I'll tell you what else. Syllogism.
There you go.
How the hell you say it?
Syllogism.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so it's like, and I mean, even that's a very basic thing. It's like, well, duh. If you've ever taken any kind of a behavioral psychology class, it's like A, B, C, the antecedent, the behavior, and the consequence. That's a sequence of events. It's just something that happens. But to actually sit down and realize, oh, crap, I got to actually think about that. That's another thing. It's like, well, if this happens here, this will happen. And if this goes this way, it's going to, and you get the branching paths and you're basically forming the skeleton for your story. But it's about doing those foundational things that are not as sexy, not as fun. And I don't know. It's just hard to do.
It is, even though, foundational stuff is another reason why I purchased the book that I did.
Sure.
But I feel like when I wrote in the past, like things just flow out of me and it feels so natural. Like I don't really have to think too much.
Like you're receiving the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like I never thought like, this has to set up that and whatever. Like everything was just flowing out of me, just like just pure awesomeness. The way I looked at it, And
absolutely.
And I'm actually at the point now where I'm like, not many people have seen my idea for the Parliament of Trees story that I wrote that's still sitting online. But, if I do learn anything from this book, I get a mulligan. Maybe I can refine that and make it more presentable and, palatable
Do something with it. Yeah.
for people to maybe actually look at it and go, 'cause I think it's a freaking fantastic idea. I really do. My heart of hearts, I think my concept is just out of this world. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to read story, even though adaptation is an outstanding movie.
Never saw it.
You are doing yourself a disservice.
Often.
You didn't see that scene that you were referring to, where Nicolas Cage gets up, Nicolas Cage rather, and he's just like, what about if there's a story where nothing happens to a character, nothing significant, and he just, and the guy, I forget his name,
McKee, Robert McKee,
and he's like teaching the course. He's like, what? Like, he just like tears him to bits. Like, what are you even doing? Why are you even writing? Like, no one wants to read that, But yeah, that's maybe you should watch it on the plane.
Maybe. Maybe.
I think you would quite enjoy it. I know you have
I
trouble.
hope it's 6 hours long.
Well, no, but that's the thing. You don't like to digest movies because they're too long.
True.
But now you're a captive audience.
Captive. Yeah.
So that might be worth checking out,
Could be.
So I will keep the world updated on if I actually gain anything from this book or if it does anything of significance for me.
For sure.
And maybe I think this boils down to everything we've talked about is all we're looking for is a kick in the pants.
Big time.
That's all we're paying for. It's just that little, give me a spark. Give me a...
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm struggling to do this on my own, whether it's because I never got feedback on something or I put something out into the universe I really hoped would get a little bit of a response or anything,
Yes, I don't think either of us have ever gotten a negative reaction.
No.
It's just no reaction.
Yeah, you kind of hope, all right, it's like with anything, I like organic growth.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we're talking about podcasts, we're talking about live streams. How many times do I get friggin' emails like, pay us this amount of money and we'll get you 1,000 views?
Oh, yeah.
Or
constantly.
all these scammers, and I'm thinking, who falls for this crap? Because you want things to happen organically. You want,
of course.
Even if it takes a couple years, it takes time. This person tells his friend, or I tell my aunt, and she likes my post. But you get my drift here. You get the point.
Sure.
So, I don't know. It feels weird to manufacture things or slap a label on something and create a product out of something that you treat as a passion or as a hobby or something that you care about, or even when you're writing something that a concept that you're really just super into.
Yeah.
But still, if it's been sitting on the internet for quite a while and you're like, no one reached out and said, damn, that's a good idea, even though I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Maybe, two things could be the truth here. The idea sucks, and I'm delusional. Or B, I need to figure out...
The internet's a big place.
Yeah. Or B, I need to figure out how to actually structure something like a real writer would, perhaps. Maybe, kind of. But anyway. But I digress.
Ah!
Yes, there we go. I do... it's tax season, right? It's tax season.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting there.
But I digress. I'm moving out of the country. I'm fleeing.
H&R Block be damned.
I'm fleeing the United States so I don't have to pay my massive tax bill. All right, so that's all fine and good. We are both very... we said we weren't going to be depressing. We were just going to be rays of sunshine this entire episode.
We're coming of age.
Yeah,
we're 21 today.
We are. This is episode number 21.
Yes.
But that midlife crisis segment was a little bit of a Debbie Downer. I think.
I mean, maybe it was a foundational discussion.
There we go. I like it.
Building blocks.
Looking at the screen. I'm going to keep pointing at you.
So then this time next year, we can look back on this episode and be like, wow, we wasted another year.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. You know what? That's good. We should do a look back. At some point and go.
Hopefully, we won't be saying we wasted another year. But
No. I mean, and even then, even if nothing happens or this book goes nowhere or whatever, it's
sure,
not like it's more like buying a lottery ticket, right?
there
You
you
kind of
go.
hope you're gonna like win $10 on a $2 ticket or something.
Sure.
You know that's what kind of like my view on this is. I don't expect to read a book and suddenly refine a script and all of a sudden be like invited with open arms, like, hey, we want you to do a comic. Or here's the other thing: is independent publishing. I ain't get the money for
Sure.
that. I don't know how to
That's
do all that stuff.
then
You know.
finding an artist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
tough. And I couldn't draw my own stuff
mhm,
because, like I said, I'm stuck on faces because I didn't pay attention in school. So
mhm.
there's a life lesson for everybody.
Nobody's riding a bicycle in your stories.
No. They're just floating like this.
Nobody's eating fruit. Nobody's riding
That's right.
bikes.
They're just floating around when I ride a bicycle into the scene. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? Let's leave that in the dust,
Hmm.
like my '52 Schwinn. I
Hmm.
don't remember the model that teacher had, but it probably wasn't even that fancy. It's probably like
Banana seat.
yeah, a Sears and Roebuck. Bought it out of a catalog bike. But hey, what you want to move on is the rites of passage, our weekly Chris U email. Does that sound like an
Yes.
appropriate segment to get
Let's
into
do
now?
that.
Okay, great.
Let's do that thing. Let me know when we are ready
Roll
to go
that
because I can't
beautiful
see.
bean footage.
Cool, cool. Alrighty. Hello to the Bada Bin Show. Such a great show today. This is talking about last episode where we went completely off the rails. Um, didn't talk a whole lot about comics. He says, I came for the comics and got so much more. Laundry advice, gas station restroom stories. I forgot all
Oh
about that.
no,
And horoscopes. Oh God, we read horoscopes.
indeed, you did.
All kept me on the
Yeah.
I did. All kept me on the edge of my seat. So let's bada babble. Presented by me. First off, to Dave, that Hulk figure slash statue looks awesome. It is the perfect representation of a 2D cover turned into 3D, and I was amazed at how low that price was. It has me wondering what other covers could be turned into figures with that high a level of detail. I'm thinking maybe the cover to McFarlane's Spider-Man #1, but I can't come up with anything else. And you've actually got another one coming, right?
No. Okay, so
You don't have the Wolverine claw
I
deal?
canceled that one. I
Okay.
canceled that one. That's already available.
Hmm.
That was a pre-order. I was just like, do I need it? Do I really need it? And I was kind of addressing and looking at my bank account at the same time, going, and I passed, and I stuck with the Hulk one that he's talking about right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Chris continues. The Take Two segment was deep. We all have those wish I knew then what I know now things, and I love to pass that knowledge on to my kids, hoping they won't repeat my mistakes. So for me, my take two for my personal life is experiences are more valuable than things. You don't need the super large TV or the souped up hot rod car. Go on a vacation to some place you've never been. Go see a play or a concert that you'll remember forever. Spend time doing as many different things as you can. And that's something we actually talked about last week. We talked about how experiences really don't do it for us. But
Yeah.
maybe,
Unfortunately.
I'm about to have an experience. So maybe that is the way. Maybe that is the way that things should be.
It's so funny because
Um,
last night my wife was saying to me, she's like, memories matter. Memories are everything. I'm like, yeah,
it's
memories are
true.
pretty good. But are they as good as maybe Swamp Thing number 37 in very fine condition? Well, that's a memory I'd like to have. Purchasing that,
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean that's it. I think he's got a point there. 'Cause I think at the end of the days, I don't think any of us are going to say, "Man, I wish I did more shit I didn't like." You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I was actually thinking about this not too long ago when I was trying to whittle down my comics order, bringing it back to comics for a bit, where it's like, wow, if I'm on my deathbed, am I going to really be like, man, I really wish I read more of that shit? The stuff I don't like, actively don't like, but I was reading it anyway. I don't know. I think I crossed my wires there. I don't know
Well,
where
I
we're
was
at.
gonna say I know you don't watch movies, but there was a
Hmm.
Simpsons movie, and
Uh-huh.
I think I've quoted comic book guy from The Simpsons from that very scene on this show before, maybe even last
Mm-hmm.
episode, where like the end is nigh, everything's gonna end, and he's like sitting there and he's like, man, you know, I got all these comics, I got all these things. He's like, life well spent. And I'm just like, and I laugh every time I see it, and I repeat it to myself many times because as I look around, and I think it's what I did on the Bada Bin show. I'm like, life well spent. Like this is great. And to Chris Yu's comment here, you know, big screen TVs, hot rods, whatever the case may be here. I don't know, man. It's tough for me as a collector to ever think about like going Marie Kondo or Feng Shui.
Yeah. I don't know that I could do something like that.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
only keep what you absolutely love and whatever it
What brings you joy or
and
whatever
all
it
that
is,
stuff.
or- yeah.
Because all this in some little sliver brings me happiness that I've accumulated all of this plastic wealth, you know, or just the comics and stuff. And I mentioned this before. In many ways, it's appeasing my inner child, to which we all do, and that's why nostalgia is such a big business. But
it's true.
you know, I think I don't want to. All right. I'm sorry. I'm stumbling here. I'm stumbling and bumbling because I do believe he brings up something that relates to this later in his email. So maybe I will, as we should have a shirt that says, put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
Maybe I'll come back to it in a little bit.
Okay. I will continue then. Now, as a comics collector, my take too is I wish that I knew it was okay to not have every issue of every series. Boom.
That's what it was. Yes.
It's okay to stop buying a series you're not enjoying. And to go along with that, it's okay to let it all go. As someone who has sold his collection for what was probably a low-ball amount, the world does not end if you're not surrounded by your comics. The stories in the comics will stay with you even when the physical books are gone. The experience of hunting down that white whale book for years and finally finding it stays with you longer than the actual book itself. It's another, it's kind of crossing the streams there with experience and stuff.
And that's exactly what I want to talk about. So I'm glad I held on. But yeah.
Yes.
And just because we all know my deal with the Hulk and how when I finally had to drop the Hulk because I was not enjoying the story, it was agonizing.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, yada, yada, yada. Yet again, it's been well documented. So that is a valuable lesson, that you don't have to support something if it's not good.
Sure.
Now, to kind of go into what he just mentioned about the memories of the comics are there and what have you. How many times has someone purchased something, whether it's like an emergency generator or extra water? I mean, we're going into a snowstorm tomorrow, just in case.
Sure.
You never know if you're going to need it, but you'd rather have it than not have it, just, you know, when crap hits the fan kind of thing. Okay. How many times have I told people in my life, the day may come, apocalypse may reign upon this earth that we dwell. Electricity will go bye-bye. All forms of entertainment that you know and cherish will go poof. But who will be laughing all the way into doomsday? This guy. Because I'm going to have so much reading material. I don't care if I'm reading by daylight or candlelight or whatever we have accessible to us. I will be so entertained. It's going to be ridiculous. Thanks to all the comics I have.
But in order for you to be right, the world has to end.
Listen, I'm not trying to be a naysayer. I know earlier in the show I said the end is nigh. I get it, you know? But should it occur, I'm good, baby.
You're prepared.
I am so set. It's ridiculous. Like, dude, I can't run a DVD player because I got no electricity. I
got 400 issues of Legion.
Well, hey, man, what better time?
There you go.
Than the end of days.
The end of the world.
There you go, to finally understand, well, not even understand it, just dig into Legion. But still, man, I'm telling you, I just have, and you know, here's the other thing. You might come at me and be like, dude, I got no way to entertain myself. My family is bored. I'm going to give you 2 goats, my daughter, whatever I have available for that fat stack of Legion you got there.
There you go.
Because we need some way to occupy our time.
We need something.
So we're not, like, thinking about eating the family pet. Thank you, comics. Thank you.
I like his point about the hunt being more memorable than the book sometimes, because that is very, very true. But, I mean, the hunt is about procuring something.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the hunt might be anticlimactic by what you actually wind up getting, but I don't know. You do actually get something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been whelmed by a hunt result, like something I've tracked down and hunted down for years or months or whatever. I get it and be like, wow, that was worth it.
Hmm.
It's like, ooh, that my big relief is like, ooh, I filled that hole.
Yeah.
I get to erase that number in my phone. You
But
know,
even holding
I don't know.
something in your hands that you've waited like 5 or 6 years to find in the wild, you don't get a little.
I mean, that's great. That's wonderful. No, that's lightning bolt.
Okay.
But after that, it's just like,
Yeah, but that's everything.
what now?
That's everything.
I guess you're right.
You know,
I guess you're
you
right.
name it. What,
Everything is fleeting. Yeah,
other than maybe potentially winning the lottery, what
sure.
other experience in life that we look forward to that isn't a fleeting experience?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I only cite the lottery because you
No.
win it, you're a millionaire, and then after that, you get to have more fun until yet again until the power
So you
goes
blow
out
it.
and you're spending. You get the money's worthless, and you're
Yep.
trading me socks and undies for my comics. You know,
For your
for my
legion.
well, I don't have any Legion to
Yes.
trade, but yeah, you know,
Oh, see, now you're screwed. Now you're
I might
screwed.
have. What would I part with in the
New
apocalypse?
Warriors?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know about that. It's tough getting high on your own supply. You know what I mean?
It's
It
true.
really is.
It's true.
But anyway.
Yeah, I think I got some El Diablo in there. Gerard Jones's El Diablo.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Chris continues. I've often thought that if I just put the money I spent on comics in a shoebox and kept it under my bed, one, I would have a very large shoebox, and two, what I could have used that money to do. Because when I sold them all off, it was the worst return on investment you could imagine. No, I mean, I can never fathom selling my collection for a lot of reasons. Not even the return on investment. Like that doesn't even rank in my head, but the thought of it is pretty
Oh
sobering.
yeah. And real quick
I mean,
before I forget,
yeah,
if
sure.
I am in the apocalypse and I say, "Hey, I want rights to your well," I have some checkmate on Baxter stock over here.
Oh hell.
What do you say? But as you were, you don't care about.
I would say I already have that.
You would. I wouldn't be able to barter with you. This wouldn't be impossible. I'm just saying, you know.
I got gymnastics
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yes, you do. I'm talking about John Q. Public. All right. Now, I'm not no experienced mofo like you. But what were you saying now? Because you said the value isn't something you consider.
No, I mean, because I never would. That's like anytime anybody in the family finds out you have a big collection, it's like, oh, what would you sell it
What's it
for?
worth?
I never even think about that. It's just like I want my stuff because it's my
Yeah.
stuff. The money isn't even like an option or a thought.
Right.
But when you actually enter that thought into the conversation, it's scary because it's like, what would anybody pay for your collection?
He.
Like if you're struck by lightning tomorrow, and your collection needs to be moved out of the house, what does it go for?
Yeah. I. It's one of my big fears.
Yeah,
As far as my family getting swindled because they're not collectors, they don't know what anything's worth, and
sure. And I mean, and we've looked online here for prices, and they're all over the board.
yeah.
So there's no hard and fast. This is what a comic book is
Well,
worth.
it's remember when you were talking about comics by the pound?
Yeah. Hmm.
I was having a conversation with my son earlier. Was it last week? But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And we were looking at all this Funko Pops and statues and figures and
Sure.
stuff, and it was like, okay, well, this could be worth this and that. It's like, no, no, no. Think of everything being worth $1,
Yeah.
and just go by volume. How many of these do you have? You know what I mean? That's what you should
Sure.
realistically think would work because everybody's always looking for a bargain. Everybody's always looking for a deal.
Of
And like
course.
Chris, you had mentioned, like he feels like he got swindled. He probably did. Um,
Sure. Selling a whole collection. Yeah,
and people are
absolutely.
looking to undercut and whatever because everybody wants that.
Or I'll take it all for this amount. Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. For sure. No, I mean, um, I've known people who have passed and their collections were basically just given away
Yeah.
because nobody in the family knew what to do with it. That's pretty
That
scary.
is.
It's pretty sad too.
And that's
Very,
again
very
my
sad.
fear is all this stuff. That's why I joke, but I'm not really joking. and I say bury me with it.
Oh, you're breaking up on me
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. Maybe because it was. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're
Okay,
back.
maybe it was because it was such a terrible statement to make that the internet was like, we can't let him say
You were
this.
pre-censored.
Yeah, but it
Yes.
was. I said like bury me with everything.
There you
Let's
go.
make a little underground bunker, a tomb,
Mm-hmm.
and
Tomb.
throw me in there with all my stuff that I enjoy being surrounded
Mm-hmm.
with, and just let my corpse hang out with my crap.
There you go.
That'd be expensive,
There you
actually.
go. Oh yeah, it'd be
Because if I
ridiculous.
could, I would. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, let's get a pyramid. Let's have a pyramid built.
No, I want it under the ground. I don't want it easily plundered.
Underground pyramid.
Okay.
Reverse
And I'm just
pyramid.
at the tip. I'm in the little underground. Yeah,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I found this on the
Uh
web.
oh.
I don't know why the watch wanted to tell us about an underground
Now
pyramid.
this is effed up. So the internet pause or Skype or whatever we're using here, it failed when I started talking about it, and now when we talked about turning the pyramid upside down,
Illuminati.
Illuminati, your watch starts talking to you like, "Hey, I am part
Uh-oh.
of this conversation too, human. Don't
Oh, the owls are not what they
I will
appear.
zap you in the
Oh.
balls if you ignore me. I am your AI
Uh-oh.
overlord."
That is horrifying.
But
Let's
Chrissy
move on.
continues.
Hearing Dave talk about the comic shop going out of business and say that he's been asked why he doesn't open his own comic shop reminds me of the first comic shop I regularly visited when it closed. The place was profitable, but the owners were in their late 60s and wanted to retire. He offered to sell the business to a few of his longtime customers, and I was one of them. But I was newly married and had a baby on the way, so I had to turn down the offer. But if he had retired 5 years earlier, I may have bought it. I probably dodged a bullet there. The last new comic I ever bought there was New X-Men 117 with the Beast on the cover shedding a tear. In my headcanon, that tear was because the store was closing. Now, comic stores closing, I feel like we're in like the perfect generation for that being a major thing to happen. You know, in the mid '90s,
Right.
In all my time frequenting comic book stores, and it's been for 30 years now, I think there's only been one shop that closed down that I knew was closing down, and it was for the same reason that Chris mentions here. It's because the owners were older and retiring, and they were going to close like probably the fall of 2020, but then COVID happened, so they just closed during COVID.
Okay.
But we knew it was coming. It was like, this is our last year, and we all knew, and we knew they were profitable. We knew that they were, big players in the town. But every other shop that's closed down kind of took the circus model, where like the employees didn't even know it was closing down. Like they would go and their key wouldn't work the next day, or just it would just be an empty room. Do you have any experience with dodgy sort of closures?
No, not necessarily dodgy, but growing up in Webster, Massachusetts in the 80s and 90s, we had one hobby shop that sold comics that really was the catalyst for a lot of
The hub.
my fandom. It is called A&G Hobbies, run by an older couple that were a little eccentric and weird. But anyway, the thing with that was apparently they couldn't pay the rent.
Okay.
And they moved. They closed the location in downtown Webster. And next thing you know, they opened up a small. There was like a flea market in the town next over.
Okay. It's like a kiosk.
Exactly. They had a little booth when that flea market was open, and eventually then poof, when it was that was it.
Gone
Right,
again.
exactly. But it was interesting to me that was like the transition. Nowadays, you would think it would be okay. Our shop, we can't afford a brick and mortar anymore. We're doing eBay.
Going online.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, like I've had a few that did that, but we never got like a warning. It's not like a hey,
I don't remember
we're
if I
closing
did.
down in 2 weeks. Come and buy whatever you can, and then we're going to go online. We had one of the bigger comic shops in the country out here, Atomic Comics. They had, I think they had over a half dozen locations, and it was around. It was when I first got back into working again after my long bout of unemployment. I had a government job for a bit. Was doing really well, so I went and I was backfilling all the stuff that I'd missed over the years I was unemployed. And I went in there once, and it's like, hey, all the back issues are $1. Like, what? All the back issues? Okay. So I'm loading up on. That's when I filled in my Peter David Hulk stuff. It's like I grabbed like 60 of them. It's like, okay, I'm good. Um, didn't realize that this is probably a bad thing. All I saw was I'm getting cheap comics. I didn't realize, or I didn't stop to think that why am I getting cheap comics? And it was like right before the New 52 started. It was actually the week before the New 52 started. I got an email from another comic shop saying, hey, we're taking over the pull lists for this comic store for Atomic, the one that closed down. And I'm like, what the hell is this all about? And I did some research on it. And since they had so many shops and this is after the government gig, I was doing the windshields. I was driving around town. I could stop into any of the locations, pick up my books, because my pull list was automatic. Like every Wednesday morning, they would charge my credit card. All I had to do was walk in and get the books.
Okay.
So anywhere I went. And that was the way they did things, which is smart.
Right.
They charge your credit card Wednesday morning. You come in, you get your books whenever. Well, they closed like on a Thursday. So they ran everybody's credit card on a Wednesday. They were out of business Thursday. People who didn't pick up their comics until like the next week, poof, gone.
Ouch.
And the employees didn't know that they were closing down. This is what the employees told me. So this is secondhand, but yeah, they said like they would go and the locks were changed, and they still saw the stuff inside, but they couldn't get in. And weird
that
stuff.
sucks. I'd be so pissed.
Oh yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine you had a big pull list.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you were already charged. They took
You were
your
charged.
money.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like the circus model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling up the big top, moving to the next town.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, shops closing down is very, very weird. And that was, back in the mid '90s. You would just go 1 week they were there and 1 week they were gone.
But wait, clarify something for me. You said you felt like guilty or something. You were getting the dollar bin books.
No, I didn't think about why I might be getting them such.
All right.
I didn't stop to think like, wow, they're trying to move stuff out of here. Which in hindsight, it's like obvious. It's like these books all have at least $5 price tags on them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, everything in there's $1.
So you weren't picking up on the clues, man. You weren't seeing the signs.
I was blinded.
Blinded by the dollar bin. You know what though? I think it would happen to the best of us. So,
yeah.
Alas.
Yeah, I didn't stop to think about the long term. Like, why are they doing this? But what are you gonna do? Chris Yu continues. I read Absolute Superman #3, and it was clearly written for the trade. The whole issue is a flashback to Krypton, which I enjoyed, but it had no Superman in the present on Earth in it at all. And that last page made me ask why. I'm still sticking with it, though. So I'm guessing there is a last page reveal?
More like a, I wouldn't call it a reveal, more like a cliffhanger kind of thing. Yeah, cliffhanger works. That's the official term. Hold on, let me look it up in my writing book. Make sure cliffhanger is applicable.
It's a solipsism.
There we go. Solops. You know what solopsy? Solopsy is trash can nachos.
Bedpan tacos.
Bedpan tacos, yes, indeed.
See, I gave Justice League Unlimited a look-see, and for me it was just a book. It didn't hook me. It doesn't feel like the Justice League. It feels more like a pitch for a title called Superhero City that was turned into a Justice League book. Why does the Watchtower need a bar? But that being said, it did make me try the first issues of The Question all along the Watchtower and the Challenges of the Unknown series. And I enjoyed both of those way more than JLU, so I think I may follow those two series to see where they go. I like that they seem to be series that happen between the cracks of the main JLU series. Now, have you tried either of those?
No, and I kind of feel a tinge of regret over the along the Watchtower. Not because I'm into The Question. But I do like the writer, Alex Segura, I believe his name is.
Don't know.
Okay, I think he's pretty decent. So I was like, well, that might have been something. But, he mentioned writing for the trade with Absolute Superman, and I get it because the third issue is like that little gap issue, where they're going into more of the origin and everything. So it's very cut and paste. But, with something like all along the watchtower, or what was the other one he mentioned? Challengers.
The challenges.
There you go. They're limited series that are going to be released in trade.
Yeah.
So if I really, really want to check them out in physical form,
Be easy enough.
I could probably get the trades on the cheap.
Oh, for the challenges. I think they might just give that out.
Yeah, that one was written by what is his name? He was actually a writer that you would try to turn me on to. He was doing Iron Man. He had a pretty good stint.
Cantwell.
I think that's Cantwell.
Christopher Cantwell.
Let me double check though, because I know he was doing Plastic Man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's another Christopher of some form. I am having senior moments more and more now. So yes.
But I do agree that JLU feels like something that would be called Superhero City.
Yes.
It's very much just like, because was it like what the hell, Airwave or whatever, walking through and it's like, oh, here's the question, and you're like, hey, how are you? It's like very weird.
Yeah, it is
Didn't
Cantwell.
feel...
I'm sorry, just not to interrupt, but it is Cantwell. I'm right.
You did it.
Yay!
You did it. You
Yay!
did it.
Okay.
But yeah, that is a book thus far. Anyway, I've only read the first issue. So
the Challengers?
No, of JLU.
Oh, JLU. I'm sorry. Because I was googling, so I wasn't paying full attention.
I think I did pre-order Challengers. I did not pre-order the question.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Why did you bite on the Challengers? Because the cover had basically the Justice League or the Trinity dressed up in the Challengers garb or something? Or?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know why I would have, but I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris continues. I've been away from new comics for so long that I'm unfamiliar with virtually every writer and artist working today. I don't know their previous work or their personal shortcomings, so I can just concentrate on enjoying the stories. I feel like a kid again, experiencing the stories without any knowledge of how the donuts are made.
Wise.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Mm-hmm. You know, I often find myself not searching.
Oh, me too.
Because I don't want to know.
Don't want to know anything.
I just don't. Like, I don't want to see a goofy picture of a writer or something that I'm really enjoying, or if they...
I don't want to know their favorite drink. I don't want to know who they voted for. I don't want to know what color, what color their lawn ornaments are. I don't want to know anything.
Okay.
It's just write a story, and I will enjoy it or not.
I do want to know who they voted for. I just don't want to see him holding up a peace sign, a double finger salute in a photo. You know what I'm talking about, right? And like, yeah.
No.
You never seen that? Like for such a long time, everybody's doing like the peace thing, but sideways, like when they're taking a picture. Come on, dude.
No.
Man, you're not hip with the kids, man. You don't know what's going on.
I'm not.
But I was like
I said, I don't search for anything, so I don't know.
And
nothing.
sometimes I find myself even doing like not doing that in photos, but like every once in a while, I think signing off on Badabinshow one time, I was like, peace or whatever. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? When have I ever done that? Why am I doing that right now? Like, am I okay? What's happening here? You know? Yep. So somehow it permeated my soul, but I didn't do it sideways. All right.
Okay.
So there we go.
All right. There you go. Chris wraps up with, I'm looking forward to the first Bada Bin After Dark next week. Well, it's getting dark now.
You are in the dark. You're actually... Yeah, it's dark where you are.
I'm illuminated.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm illuminated, yes. It's 5:59 in the evening, so yes. I'll buy you guys an adult beverage to celebrate your 21st episode.
I'm
that.
gyrating because I'm actually drinking a coffee, and I've been drinking coffee all day long.
How about that?
Well, it is currently, you said it was at whatever time in your...
So you're 7 now.
I'm 7 p.m. And I've been up since 5 a.m. and I've been drinking coffee since like 5:30 a.m. So there you have it. So this is the beverage of choice. I don't drink anymore. So I wouldn't have an adult beverage. I'd probably just let him buy me a coffee or...
I'll be having a few the next few
lemonade.
days.
I'm sure you will. You're going to have a lampshade on your head.
Yeah, vacation Chris drinks. Yeah. That's the only time Chris drinks.
You're going to get girl drink drunk.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. Right on.
I exclusively get girl drink.
They're the
drunk.
best kind. It's the best kind of drunk too.
Oh yeah,
Because it's not nasty.
absolutely.
It's not like you're just like grabbing a handle of vodka and swinging off of it.
Gasoline,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's like subversive.
It's a juice.
I can't
Yeah.
speak either. Too much coffee all damn day. It's sneaky. That's
They'll
what I was
get
trying
you.
to say. Sneaky. Yeah, and they bite you, and before you know it, you're drunk and you're running around without pants on, and the authorities are called, and you need bail. I mean,
Scary stuff.
fun stuff. You kidding me? Holy moly! I got some stories for the future on that.
Put a pin in that
Yeah.
one.
Now, I don't know if we had any comments on this episode or if anybody's even bothering to watch.
No, no. I think we're it.
And Aunt Peg. Is she there? Peg!
Yes, I think Peg's
Peg!
there.
Michael McDonald jumping in on
Yeah,
the Steely Dan tip there.
some Steely Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But I do know he made some comments on last week's.
Oh, last
yeah,
week?
yeah. And I was just gonna say,
Let's see if I can find that.
the one that I think deserves the mention is we talked about reincarnation because we
Did
are like
we?
yes, we are like holy men.
What the hell? We were
All
way out.
we
last
were
time.
way out into the deep. But since we are so in tune with spirituality, because we're so wise, we're like gurus. You and I. He mentioned what he would like to be reincarnated as
A chili
a
dog.
chili dog, and I think it'd be a short-lived next life because that
Especially if he winds up in someone's plate.
yeah, exactly. If like Kurt Busiek
In someone's
gets
napkin.
one sniff of him, dude, you never want to wish to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. You just don't. All right, you're gonna get mauled by the Buse. All right, he's gonna be like, yeah, "You liked Astro City, did you? Did you now? You liked Avengers? Well, down the hatch.
The Fury of Fieri, the bedpan quesadilla man. That's
There you go.
that's Chris's interjection of the Fieri.
Yes, wonderful.
I had a weak one during the week. The Fast and the Guy Furious.
Yeah, no, that's not very weak. That's pretty good. I like it. I'm glad you jumped in because I was like totally losing it when I'm like, I wrote Astro City. Now I'm gonna eat you, hot dog, chili dog.
And Chris says we should have saved the OK Soda story for the upcoming 1993 Flashback Land segment. I'm sure we repeat ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that will probably come back
It
up.
probably will.
Yeah.
Much like the burp after consuming
Oh.
a chili dog. What's up?
Chris is he's in the comments right now.
Oh, what does he want to
He
say?
just said, I messed up the time zone conversion and tuned in at 7 p.m. Eastern. Going to go back and watch the first hour when you wrap up.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up now, so
Yeah.
better late than never. Say hi to my Aunt Peg while you're there, Chris. Why don't you do that? I don't really have an Aunt Peg, by the way. Full disclosure. It's just a random character I made up.
And isn't it weird that Peg is short for Margaret?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
I
Don't know where that comes
I was
from.
just thinking Steely Dan, man. That's it.
It will come back to you.
Exactly. Badoom cha. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So that does it for his. It's always great to get his weekly email.
Of course.
It's cool
Of
stuff,
course.
man. It's great to hear his thoughts on things, and it's funny though because I was touting Absolute Superman #3 as like the best issue of the albeit short run thus far, and he was like, "Them bastards writing for the trade. Now it's obvious." But they got me.
What? Because nowadays, a trade is 5 issues, so we're like right in the halfway point.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah. That's part of our shrinkflation.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always shocked if I see like a trade and it's like the first 9 issues of. I'm like, wait, what? It's 196 pages. Shouldn't it be 132?
And $84.
Oh yeah, maybe. No, it'd be like 24 something instead of 17 something.
Yep.
So there you go. I do got to say, if you would like to join Chris Yu and correspond with us, it's easy, badabinshow@gmail.com. Or you can follow us, and I always do a weekly watch out. We're coming right before the live stream on Instagram, badabinshow.
There you go.
Indeed. So, easy peasy lemon squeezy if you want to reach out and touch someone. Namely us.
Us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. Well, I think that's all we got. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or?
No, no. If this is the last you see of me, I love you all.
Oh, that's grim. That's dark. Much darker than the room you sit in right now. Oh, don't do that. Next thing you know, you're going to be like leaving stickers on your hats, even though you're a grown
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Dude, I was going to say a bad thing. I want to smack those people.
You're gonna get us demonetized.
What? We're not even monetized to begin with.
It was a
What are you
joke.
talking about?
Just a joke.
Okay. Don't joke with me. I'm about to rampage, bro. Because like as far as pet peeves go, like nothing really tops the sticker on the hat guys. It's like we get it. I understand. Your hat size is 7 5/8. Why? It,
Yes, Mad Hatter.
years ago, I worked with a gentleman named Will Smith, and not the Will Smith the actor, obviously.
Who?
Will Smith was his name, but not the actor.
Okay.
Yeah,
The who?
you know what? You're a friggin' comedian, ain't you? You know who Will Smith is. You probably watched your fair share of Fresh Prince when you were a kid.
Never watched a
Get
single
out
episode
of
of that.
Dodge. You know, real quick, I used to be able to tell what time it was by looking into people's houses and seeing what was on TV. Because I didn't have a watch or anything when I was a kid. And I was like, oh,
Sure.
Fresh Prince is on. It's 7:30. You know what I mean? I just figured I'd throw that in there because, I'm old. But anyway, and I was talking to Will, and he goes, because I was telling him, like, I hate it when people wear stickers on hats and stuff. And God, this is 10 years ago more. And he's like, well, you don't have to worry about that because you're a white guy. But in the hood, people want to prove things are authentic. So we leave tags and stickers on stuff. He's like, I think it's lame, but that's the reason for it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can even buy that theory. It's just like, there's actually a funny Key and Peele skit about like having like your hat authenticated by a sticker. I might have sent it to you one time and you never watched it.
If you did, I
You didn't
watch
watch it. But it came to the point where it's like, yeah, man, like my hat is fresh. It's got a sticker on it. Next thing you know, like it's like encased, like slabbed, and then it ends up being like a sweatshop worker from some like third world country on top of his head manufacturing the hat, and he's like, "This is how real my hat is. This is how And I'm like, how far does it go? Where does it stop? When does it stop? So please, hashtag take the sticker off your cap. Thank you, signed Dave. And that's a great way to end the show before you go to Hawaii.
And hopefully I'll come
You
back.
will, shut up. Stop talking stop doing the finger thing. Stop talking like
Oh,
that.
this is just crossing my fingers.
Well, okay. Well, don't even do that. Just cut it out. You're going to have a great time. It's
Okay.
going to be awesome. Enjoy it. Just like, let go. Just do the trust fall into life, bro.
We'll see.
You're going to be fine. And everything's going to be great. You and your wife are going to have an amazing time. And before you're going to come back and be like, damn, I was worried and stressed out over nothing. I guarantee it.
I hope
I'm
so.
slapping it right down on the table right now. Bam! I'm not wagering anything, but I'm symbolically.
So when are we coming back?
When you come back, you let me know.
Oh, we usually do this on
I know,
the
but I mean, it's going to be completely up to you. Because I don't know when you come back from vacation if you're going to be tired, if you're going to have a little bit of a hangover.
I come back Sunday night.
Okay, well, I'm free next week,
Any other day's
Wednesday and Friday, but I just blah blah blah. I mean, again, let's base it on how you feel post vacation because you might be burned, you might be blistered,
I might be.
you might need some aloe vera,
I might.
and that's what I should use for my aunt's name, Vera. Auntie
Or aloe.
Yeah, Auntie Aloe, how are you? But anyway,
Or you say aloe.
yeah, we'll just leave that up in the air. But we will be back next week. How's that sound?
There you
Perfect.
go. God willing.
Sure, stop it. I want to thank everybody who is going to watch this show in the future because obviously you're not here right now, other than Chris Yu. Thank you, Chris Yu. Virtual hugs for all of you in the future, and I appreciate it. This is kind of a quickie episode for us. We're just under 2 hours of two dudes hanging out talking comics and figs and life. So yeah, good stuff.
It's what we do.
It is what we do. All right, man. If you got nothing else to add, I think I'm going to start hitting the screens and getting the hell out of here. Sound good?
Sounds
Well, say
good.
something fast before I get off your face.
See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.